Eros's POV. The rooftop lights flicker off the empty bottles like little dying stars. The bass from someone's Bluetooth speaker still hums faintly in the corner, fighting for life. I'm sitting on a sagging couch shoved against the far wall, half hidden behind a dying fern, beer gone warm in my hand. It's 2:17 a.m., and Zyrus is still in the middle of the chaos. Zyrus, my buddy. He's the type of person who fills a space so completely you forget anyone else is in it. He's standing on top of a table right now, yelling out the lyrics to a song no one remembers, hair sticking to his forehead, skin glowing under neon pink light. The whole crowd's laughing, cheering, reaching for him. He soaks it up like sunlight. That's the thing about Zyrus. He doesn't just walk into a room, he makes it orbit around him. I should be used to it by now. We've been friends for years, met at a mutuals gig. Him on vocals, me managing sound that night because their tech bailed. He was late, half drunk, forgot his own lyrics halfway through the set, and still had the crowd losing their minds. I remember thinking, Christ, this guy's a walking disaster. Then he grinned at me afterward, voice hoarse, sweat dripping down his neck, and said, "You're the only one who didn't look bored." I wasn't bored. I was intrigued. That night turned into 100 more. Gigs, bars, late-night takeout runs, stupid arguments about music genres. Somewhere along the line, friendship just happened. Not by choice, by gravity. I'm the quiet one, always have been. I compose for film projects. Background scores, moody instrumentals, the kind of music that hides behind stories. Zyrus, on the other hand, thrives under spotlights. He's a freelance performer. Bars, underground gigs, private events, loud, messy, magnetic. Everything I'm not. And somehow, he keeps finding his way back to me. Like now. He jumps off the table, ignoring the half-hearted protests from the host, and makes his way toward me, grinning that stupid grin that makes everyone forgive him instantly. His amber eyes catch the dim light, wild and tired all at once. "Why are you always brooding in the corner like a divorced poet?" he says, flopping down beside me. I raise a brow. "Because someone has to supervise the chaos." He laughs, loud and unrestrained. The kind of laugh that fills a room, that always makes heads turn. Then he leans back, exhales, and for a second, I see it. The exhaustion behind his show. The dimness under all that shine. "You good?" I ask quietly. He hums, eyes half-lidded. "Yeah, just been a long week. Jace keeps pushing new gigs, and I haven't slept properly in, 3 days." Here we go. Jace, Zyrus's situationship. Jace and Zyrus were something back 3 years ago. On-stage chemistry like a damn live wire. Off-stage, complicated. Zyrus never said boyfriend, just bandmate, with a look that said there was more he didn't want to unpack. After they split, Jace went quiet for a while. Then Zyrus's solo career took off, but he never quite recovered from that break, musically or emotionally. The guy built his confidence on applause, and Jace had been the loudest one clapping. And sometimes, when Zyrus laughs too hard at nothing, I can tell he's still chasing that same noise. Because Zyrus still cannot let go of Jace, neither is he letting me go. I study him. The smudged eyeliner, the slight tremor in his fingers, the crack in his voice. He's burning himself out again. "Come crash at mine," I say before I can stop myself. "You'll get actual sleep." His eyes flicker open, a soft grin replacing the exhaustion. "Eros, you're inviting me over? Careful, people might start talking." "They already do," I mutter. He laughs again, but quieter this time. "Yeah, they always do." We leave the party half an hour later. The night's damp, street slick from an earlier drizzle. He hums tunelessly beside me as I drive, head leaning against the window, eyes fluttering shut between breaths. By the time we reach my apartment, he's half asleep. I hand him a towel and a shirt while he showers. When he steps out, hair wet and messy, my shirt hanging loose on him, I look away a bit too quickly. He crawls onto my couch, pulling the blanket up to his chin. "You're not gonna play something?" "It's too quiet," he mumbles. I chuckle. "You complain about noise every other day." "Yeah, but your noise is different." He's asleep before I can ask what that means. The first few nights were like that. Random, scattered. He'd show up at my door at 1 a.m. or 3 a.m., usually after a fight with Jace or an anxiety spiral after a show. He'd mumble something about not being able to sleep. I'd make tea, and he'd end up on my couch again. Then one night, maybe 2 months in, it changed. He came over, drenched, rain, sweat, I don't even know. His hands were trembling. "Can't do it tonight," he muttered. "Too much noise in my head." I didn't ask questions. I just handed him a towel, made tea, and sat beside him while he stared blankly at the steam curling off his cup. After a while, his shoulders dropped. "You ever feel like you're performing your whole life? Like, even your silence has to be staged?" "Yeah," I said quietly. "All the time." He looked at me then. Really looked. Like he'd been waiting to hear that answer. When he fell asleep that night, it wasn't on the couch. He leaned against me halfway through a movie, head on my shoulder, breath brushing my collarbone. I didn't move. Couldn't. At around 4 in the morning, I woke up to his hand gripping my shirt. Softly, like his body was scared to let go. He whispered, moan something in his sleep. My name. And just like that, everything I'd been trying not to think about started burning through my chest. The next morning, he made pancakes. Burnt half of them. Made me laugh more than I had in weeks. When he left, he said, "You're good for my insomnia, you know that." I didn't tell him he was bad for everything else. Now, weeks later, he still shows up unannounced. Tonight's no different. He's sprawled on my couch, scrolling through his phone while I work on a score. His leg brushes mine every few minutes. Probably unintentional. Probably. "Why don't you ever come out with me anymore?" he asks suddenly. "Because one of us needs to remember the night afterward." He smirks. "You talk like I black out every time." "Do you not?" He laughs, but it fades too fast. He turns the phone off, sets it aside, and leans back. "You ever think maybe I just don't like being alone?" I stop typing. "Zyrus," he cuts me off. "You don't get it. When it's quiet, it's like everything I've been running from catches up. Every bad review, every fight, every person who used me and left. The noise keeps it away." He looks up at me, eyes tired. "Except when I'm here." Something thick lodges in my throat. I can't look away from him. "Why's that?" I ask. He shrugs, gives a faint smile. "Maybe your quiet's louder than everyone else's." He says it like a joke, but the air between us hums. I don't answer. I just turn back to my screen and pretend like my heartbeat isn't stuttering out of rhythm. Later, when I head to bed, he's already half asleep on the couch again. I pause, watching him for a moment. The way his breathing steadies, the way he curls up like the world's finally stopped chasing him. When I turn off the light, I hear it again, a soft, slurred whisper. "Eros," he moans. "Stay here." I hesitate before I give in to my crazy heart. I sit on the floor beside the couch, my back against it, eyes on the ceiling. His hand brushes my hair once, unconsciously, and when he exhales, a soft sound slips out. A quiet, breathy, another moan. My name, tangled in sleep. I close my eyes. My hands clench. And for the first time, silence hurts. Months later. 3 months. That's how long it's been since the first night he showed up drenched and trembling. Now my place smells like him. Faint cologne, detergent, and the ghost of cheap whiskey. His hoodie's on the armrest. His guitar case is half under the couch. Sometimes he forgets his charger here. Sometimes I think he forgets on purpose. He's here again tonight. I'm washing mugs when he leans against the kitchen counter, hair messy, wearing one of my shirts that's too big on him. "You know," he says, "I used to hate silence." I glance at him. "That doesn't surprise me." He laughs softly, tracing a finger along the counter's edge. "Yeah, used to freak me out, like I could hear every thought I didn't want to think." "What changed?" "You." That makes me pause, just for a second. He smiles when I don't answer, walking over to the fridge. "You got anything to eat?" "Leftover pasta." "Perfect. Chef Eros is saving my life again." I roll my eyes. "You'd survive without me." "Doubt it." He grins, opening the fridge. "Hey, did you ever finish that book? The one with the tragic lovers?" I nod. "Yeah, it wasn't tragic though, just honest." He hums. "You like honest endings. They make sense." He closes the fridge and looks at me. Really looks. His eyes aren't mischievous this time. They're softer, searching. "Sometimes I think you see too much." "Sometimes I think you hide too much," I replied. He smirks, but there's no bite in it. Just a quiet surrender. The next morning, sunlight spills through the blinds, hitting the edge of his hair. He's sprawled across my bed, arm flung over his face, still wearing my shirt. I'm supposed to be leaving for work, but I just stand there watching him breathe. He looks different in sleep. No show, no noise, just Cyrus. My chest feels tight. He stirs, mumbling, "You're staring." "You're drooling," I shoot back. He groans. "Liar." Then he grins without opening his eyes. "You like watching me sleep, huh?" "I like it when you're quiet." That earns me a sleepy chuckle. "Hate you." "Get some more sleep." He peeks at me through his lashes. "You staying?" "For a while." He hums, satisfied, rolling over and pressing his face into the pillow. "Good. I sleep better when you're around." My throat goes dry. I grab my jacket before I can say something I'll regret. Flashback. 1 year ago, he'd guilt-tripped me to come to his first solo show downtown. The crowd was loud, drunk, and messy. I remember thinking how out of place I looked. Pressed shirt, quiet posture, trying not to bump into sweaty strangers. He'd spotted me in the back and yelled, "Eros, you actually came!" Then he played something different that night. Softer, slower, like he wasn't performing, just confessing. Afterward, he'd run up, breathless. "Did I suck?" "You were good," I said. "Only good?" "Fine, you were alive." He'd laughed, that stupid bright laugh, and thrown an arm around my shoulder. "You're the only one who talks to me like I'm not a walking playlist." I hadn't known what to say to that, but I remember thinking, maybe that's why he keeps me around. Back to now. It's another Saturday night. Xeris's band is performing at a bar in Brooklyn. I go like always. I stay in the corner, nursing a beer, watching him set the stage on fire. He spots me halfway through the set, smirks and winks mid-chorus like the song's suddenly about me. It shouldn't affect me, but it does. My stomach twists. After the show, he crashes into me outside, still sweaty, still glowing. "You saw that last part." "You winked at me during a guitar solo." "I was flirting." "While drunk." "Still counts." I look away. "You flirt with everyone." His grin falters a little. "Not like that." There's a pause. One of those rare ones between us where everything feels a bit too exposed. Then his friend Jace appears, slinging an arm around Cyrus. "There you are, superstar. We're hitting after party number 2. "2?" I mutter. "Don't worry, Eros," Jace says, smirking. "I'll return him in one piece." Cyrus hesitates. For the briefest moment, I think he'll say no. But then, he flashes that tired smile and says, "Yeah, okay." One drink. I nod, pretending it doesn't sting. Because of course, in the need of quiet, Xeris still leans towards chaos. 3 days later. He doesn't come. Not in 3 days. No late-night texts. No can't-sleep calls. I tell myself he's busy. That's what he does. Burns out, rebuilds, disappears. But on the 7th night, the doorbell rings. I open the door to find him there. Hoodie up, eyes bloodshot, smelling like whiskey and rain. "Hey," he says, voice low. "Can I crash?" I just step aside. He doesn't wait for an answer. Inside, he drops his bag, kicks off his shoes, and sinks onto the couch. He looks wrecked. "Rough week?" I ask. He nods. "Can't turn it off, the noise, the lights. Jace keeps saying we need to stay relevant. I can't breathe, Eros." "Then stop trying to keep up." I don't know how. He looks at me, eyes glassy. "Can I stay tonight?" "Yeah," I say quietly. "You don't have to ask." He stands, moving closer. "I never do." Something in the air shifts. He's close enough that I can feel his breath on my neck. The space between us isn't really space anymore. "Eros," he murmurs. "You're the only place that feels quiet." And before I can stop him, he presses his lips to my cheek. Just a brush. Soft, unsure, but enough to make my heart lose rhythm. He whispers, "Night," and walks to the bedroom. I stand there for a long time, pulse still racing, wondering when the hell I stopped pretending this was just friendship. Weeks later, the nights start feeling longer again. Not quiet, just emptier. The apartment still smells faintly of Xyrus. That mix of smoke, citrus shampoo, and some cologne he swears he doesn't wear. But lately, he's been gone more than he's been here. His guitar isn't propped against the wall anymore. It's back in his car. His coffee mug sits on the counter for days before he finally takes it, rinses it, and disappears for another night. He says it's gigs. Just a few new opportunities, Eros. Jace hooked me up with some promoters. Nothing crazy. That name hits different. Jace. Because now, Jace is everywhere without being here. Text tones at 2 a.m. Studio sessions that stretch till morning. A new spark in Xyrus's eyes that isn't the same as before. It's not peace, it's adrenaline. And that scares the hell out of me. It's a Thursday night when he finally comes home looking wired. Jacket half zipped, hair damp with. Sweat, fingers still twitching like he hasn't stopped strumming. "Hey," he says, like it's been hours, not days. "Miss me?" I stare at him from the couch, remote still in my hand. The TV's flickering blue against his face, and for a second, he looks unreal. This blur of charm and chaos that I can't pin down. "You look like hell," I mutter. "Where were you this time?" He drops onto the couch, kicking his boots off. "Gig downtown. Jace hooked me with this guy who..." "Of course." The words come out sharper than I mean. It's always Jace lately. He freezes, turns to me slowly. "What's that supposed to mean?" "You tell me. You've barely been home. You're always out, you don't answer your phone, and when you do, you sound half drunk or half dead. But yeah, Jace sounds great for your career." His laugh is soft, bitter. "You make it sound like I'm cheating on you." I blink. "I didn't say..." "You didn't have to." He's smirking now, that old defense he hides behind when I get too close. "You don't like that someone else is in my ear again. That I don't spend every night in your quiet little bubble anymore." "That's not it," I snap, though maybe it is, a little. "I just don't like what it's doing to you." He leans forward, elbows on his knees. "What is it doing to me?" "Yeah," I say quietly. "You're turning back into the guy you said you hated being." The words hang there between us. Raw, too real. He looks away, jaw tight. "You wouldn't get it." "Then explain it to me." He exhales, shaking his head. "You think it's that simple?" "I can't just sit around, Eros. I'm not built for silence. I need the noise, the lights, the people. It's what I am." I stare at him. This man who lights up rooms and burns through people like it's nothing. And what happens when the noise dies down again? When Jace stops calling? When the gigs dry up? You'll just crash back here and pretend it's fine? He stands up abruptly, running a hand through his hair. "You make it sound like I'm using you." "Are you?" I ask before I can stop myself. The silence after that is a punch to the ribs. He stares at me, eyes dark and unreadable. You really think that? I swallow hard. I think you don't know what you want, Xeris. Not really. His voice cracks just a little when he says, and you do? That hurts, because he's not wrong. I don't know what I want either. I just know that when he's here, the world makes sense. And when he's gone, it feels like someone turned off the sound. He grabs his jacket, mutters something under his breath, and heads for the door. Xeris, I start, but he cuts me off. I need air. The door slams before I can get up. That night, I don't sleep. His mug's still on the counter, his jacket still draped over the chair. His touch lingers on everything. I scroll through my phone, thumb hovering over his contact. No messages, just that little online dot that keeps flickering off and on again. And then a post pops up on his story. A dimly lit bar, neon lights, a familiar laugh in the background. Jace's laugh. I close the app, my stomach twists. He's slipping, not because of Jace, not really, but because Xeris doesn't know how to live in the quiet. And I'm terrified that one day he'll outgrow the peace I give him. The next morning, sunlight filters through the blinds. I hear the door unlock, soft, cautious. He walks in wearing the same clothes as last night, hair a mess, voice rough. You're still awake? Barely, I say, not looking up from my coffee. He stands there unsure. The air feels heavy. Finally, he says, You were right. I glance up. About what? He looks exhausted, eyes red, hands trembling slightly. Jace doesn't change. He still wants the same shit. The gigs, the parties, the chaos, the weird situation we were in. He wants me back in that world, and I almost went. Almost. My chest loosens just a little. But you didn't. He shakes his head. No, I left in the middle of his set. He called me a coward. I get up, walk closer. You're not a coward, Xeris. You're just tired. He laughs quietly. Yeah, tired of chasing noise that doesn't mean anything. We stand there for a second. Too close. Too quiet. His hand brushes mine on the counter. It's such a small thing, but it burns. Air us, he murmurs, voice low. You keep me sane, you know that? Barely, I whisper. He smiles faintly. Barely's enough. Then he leans in, forehead pressing to mine, breath warm, the air between us too full of everything we never say. The coffee goes cold on the counter, but I don't care. Because for now, he's here, and I'll take that. Even if it's temporary. Days later, the quiet changed again. Not the soft, easy kind we used to have, but the kind that hums in your chest like a bruise you can't stop pressing. It's been a month since the fight about Jace. Things looked better for a while. He started coming home earlier, kissing my shoulder in the mornings, making coffee that was more milk than caffeine. He even sang in the kitchen again, low and offbeat, but it made the apartment feel alive. But then the gigs started stacking up. The world remembered him. Calls from producers, event invites, long nights, loud rooms. He swore Jace wasn't involved this time, and I believed him. But every time he left, I could feel the same distance creeping back. The noise was winning again. I told myself to trust him, to stay calm. But calm feels like suffocating when you're the only one still in the room. It's a Friday night when he doesn't come home. He said he'd just play a short set. I'll be back before midnight, he'd said, kissing my temple. But it's 3 a.m. now, and I've stopped checking my phone. When the door finally opens, he looks wrecked. Hair messy, eyeliner smudged, guitar hanging from his shoulder. His voice is hoarse when he mutters, Hey. I don't say anything. Just watch him kick his shoes off and drop onto the couch. Don't start, Eros, he says, rubbing his eyes. I wasn't going to, I say quietly. You already know what I'd say. He groans, dragging his palms down his face. I didn't do anything stupid, all right? Played, had a drink, talked to some promoters, that's it. That's not the point, I mutter. You said you'd come home. He looks up at me, eyes glassy. I am home. Yeah? I take a step closer. Because it doesn't feel like it. He sits up, jaw tightening. What's that supposed to mean? It means you only come back when you've burnt yourself out, I snap. When the noise eats you alive. Then you crawl here and expect me to fix it. His head lifts sharply. That's not fair. Neither is feeling like I only matter when you're falling apart. The air between us turns sharp. He stands, pacing, restless. You think I don't care? You think this is easy for me? I'm trying, Eros. I'm trying to balance what I love and who I... He stops, biting the rest off. Who you what? I press. He doesn't answer. My voice breaks. You make me believe I'm the quiet you need, but every time the lights hit you again, you forget I exist. Tell me I'm wrong. He drags a hand through his hair, voice rough. You are wrong. I don't forget you. I can't. Even when I'm out there, I'm hearing you in my head. You think I want to be this way? Then stop, I whisper. Stop disappearing. Stop choosing chaos over me. He laughs, bitter, small. You think it's that simple? That I can just turn it off? This is who I am, Eros. The loud, messy guy who doesn't know when to stop. You fell for that. Don't ask me to be something else now. I stare at him, chest aching. I didn't fall for chaos. I fell for the moments in between it. When you breathe, when you're real. I don't even know if you like that version of yourself anymore. He steps closer, eyes flashing. You think I'm broken? I think you're lost, I say. And I don't know if you'll ever stop running. That hits him hard. His breath stutters, anger bleeding into guilt. You don't trust me, do you? I open my mouth but can't lie. Not completely. He looks like I just punched him. Then what the hell am I still doing here? Maybe you should ask yourself that, I shoot back. He swears under his breath, pacing again. Then, quieter, rawer, I think I need to go. The words gut me. For how long? I ask. He hesitates, doesn't look at me. I don't know. The next few days crawl. The bed feels wrong. The air smells like him, but faintly, fading. He still texts. Made it to Denver. New gig. Crowds are insane, I reply sometimes, but it's like we're both trying to pretend the silence doesn't echo between every word. 2 months later. 2 months pass. The apartment doesn't hum anymore. It's just still. I see a poster one night, his name printed across it in bold. Cyrus Hale, live tonight. Same city, same chaos, same him. I almost keep walking, I want to, but my feet turn anyway. The bar is packed, lights flashing, the air thick with sweat and beer and bass. He's on stage, guitar low, head tilted back as he sings like the world's ending in his throat. But when his eyes find me in the crowd, everything stops. The music stumbles, his lips part. He looks terrified. After the show, I start to leave. But then I hear it. Eros! He's breathless, shoving through people to get to me. You came, he says, voice trembling. I almost didn't. His eyes flicker, guilt and relief fighting each other. Yeah, I'd have deserved that. We stand in silence, the noise bleeding into a hum behind us. You happy? I ask finally. He swallows. Sometimes. That's enough then. He steps closer. No, it's not. His voice cracks. I thought it would be. The lights, the crowd, the noise. But every time it gets quiet again, all I can think about is you sitting there, probably hating me. I shake my head. I never hated you. I just didn't know if I could keep loving someone who only remembers me when it's convenient. He flinches. Don't say that. Then give me a reason not to. He takes a breath, eyes glinting under the dim lights. Because I never stopped thinking about you. I couldn't sleep without you, Eros. I tried. I thought I needed the chaos to feel alive, but it's not the stage that keeps me breathing. It's you. He steps closer until our chests brush. His voice drops lower. I'll screw up again. I know I will, but I swear I'll never make you feel small in my life again. I'll show up. I'll come home. You're not the thing I run to. You're the place I start from. It's messy. It's half a plea, half a promise. But it's real. I reach up, fingers tracing the edge of his jaw. If you break me again, I won't, he says, fierce, desperate. I'd rather break myself first. Then he kisses me. Not the soft, scared kind. The kind that tastes like everything we've been avoiding. It's rough, hot, trembling. His hands on my face like he's scared I'll fade if he lets go. When he pulls back, his forehead rests against mine. You keep me sane, Eros. And you keep making me lose control, I whisper. He laughs, breathless. Guess that's love. The crowd roars behind us, and someone calls his name, but he doesn't look away. Can I come to your place? Again? He murmurs. Only if you actually stay this time. I will, he says, kissing me again, softer now. I will. And this time, I believe him. Epilogue, 6 months later. The first thing you notice living with Xyrus again is that peace doesn't mean silence anymore. It means hearing him hum in the shower at 2 p.m., burn breakfast at 3, and somehow still call it creative cooking at 4. He moved back in 6 months ago. Not all at once. First his toothbrush, then a few shirts. Then suddenly his entire existence was back on my couch, grinning at me like he'd never left. But this time, it's different. He still plays gigs, smaller ones, local bars mostly. Sometimes he drags me along, saying I'm his good luck charm. I pretend to complain, but honestly, I like watching him perform now. He looks alive, not drowning. He even gets off stage sober sometimes. That's progress. The morning sun filters through the blinds when he stumbles out of the bedroom, shirtless, hair sticking up like he fought gravity and lost. He squints at me over his coffee mug. You're staring, I smirk. I'm trying to figure out how someone can sleep 12 hours and still look hungover. Talent, he says, sipping his coffee. Raw talent. Uh-huh. I raise an eyebrow. Did you at least feed the cat? He gasps dramatically. We have a cat? Xyrus! Kidding, he laughs, reaching down to scoop up Miso, a lazy orange menace he adopted because we needed chaos in feline form. Miso immediately tries to escape his arms, claws, and all. See? He loves me, Xyrus says proudly, wincing as Miso bolts away. Deeply, I deadpan. He plops down beside me on the couch, stretching like a cat himself. Hey, I booked a new gig next weekend, outdoor venue, chill crowd. You'll come, right? I hum, pretending to think about it. Maybe. Depends on whether the crowd screams your name this time or starts throwing bottles again. That was one time. It was last week. He grins. Then it's tradition now. I roll my eyes, trying to stay annoyed, but he nudges my knee with his, soft and familiar hands, and that old, quiet warmth spreads through me again. Later that night, he's sitting cross-legged on the floor, guitar in hand, Miso asleep on his lap. I'm reading, half listening as he fumbles through a new melody. You ever think, he says suddenly, not looking up, that we'd end up like this? Like what? Domestic, peaceful, slightly dysfunctional, but in a hot way. I snort. You flatter yourself. He looks up then, eyes soft but steady. I meant it. I didn't think I'd be capable of this, of staying. For a second, the room feels full of everything we almost lost, everything we rebuilt. I reach over, brushing my thumb over the back of his hand. You're still chaos, I say quietly. He grins. Yeah, but I'm your chaos now. Miso meows like he's protesting the sentiment, which makes us both laugh. Zyrus puts the guitar aside and leans in, his forehead resting against mine, same as always. Thanks for not giving up on me, he murmurs. I tried, I admit. Didn't take. He smiles. Small, crooked, utterly him. Good. The clock ticks softly. The city outside hums, a low, steady rhythm. And for once, the quiet doesn't feel heavy or fragile. It just feels right. The end ever had that one person who only calms down when they're with you. But it's way too hard to tell if it's comfort or chemistry. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to become part of our Rainbow Force, and consider joining our membership for early access and exclusive content. Stay wholesome.